Hi, I'm Nancy J with the Celebrity Spotlight on a movie that takes us back to 1995 and the early days of the World Wide Web. Inspired by a true story, Middlemen recalls the two genius but troubled men who came up with a way to sell adult entertainment over the internet, but needed some assistance. Enter a Texas businessman, mobsters, the FBI, and a porn star to give us a wildly compelling film that some describe as Boogie Nights meets Goodfellas.
The year was 1995. There was a VCR in every home. Music was still bought in record stores. And the world was buzzing about a brand new invention called the internet.
Was it?
Which up until then, sucked. What most people don't know is it was impossible to buy anything online.
No!
Until these two idiots came along.
What good is the internet for if it's not entertaining? We take some pictures, we scan them, we upload them, and we make a little money. What are you doing?
Do not interrupt me for the next 15 minutes.
And you play a real person. You play a Texan.
Yeah. No, that was one of the interesting things for me is, for me, I played a bunch of different roles, but the idea of playing a real guy that you could meet and kind of ask questions to, I'd never really had that happen before. I'd played, characters that had certain jobs, but I'd always envied actors that were able to do research and stuff. So yeah, that was really interesting. He's based on a guy that came from Fort Worth, and I really got to know him, and I'm not very internet savvy, so it was helpful to me to get to know somebody like that.
But let's obviously talk about Middlemen. This is a story that everyone can relate to, even though it's about the porn industry and how it's actually affected the internet commerce, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's more or less about, the film is about greed and these people who sort of stumble across the American dream and how they sort of get consumed by it. We were just talking about the fact that it's really based on business, and it's a true story. But, I think that, if it would have been Blenders, I don't know if it would have mattered as much. But that's what's so interesting about it, is that it is a true story, and these characters are more or less based on real guys. And with this movie, I think in particular, more so than any, it's truth is stranger than fiction.
We can take a credit card from anywhere in the world and deliver a product anywhere in the world. We can make a profit on every transaction. We're just the middlemen.
That's limitless.
In less than a month, we were making $200,000 a day.
What kind of business is it?
Just entertainment.
How do you describe Middlemen? We can say it's about the internet commerce, and I've used a credit card on the internet, of course, and
right.
Not necessarily for pornography.
I would hope not. But no, I think, somebody described it to me as like a business thriller under the backdrop of the internet pornography world, and that's probably how I'd describe it. My character, Jack Harris, he's an entrepreneur who's, tried a lot of different businesses and been successful, and then through a friend, he just happens to get involved in this one that, takes off. Before the oil spill, that's how I would describe it to people. It was like, the Texas oil business, people would go from being a roughneck to, having millions all of a sudden because they'd hit a gusher. And that's what happened to this guy.
And I could feel the seduction. I could feel that pulling your character into this world that suddenly it just becomes normal.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that was interesting about it to me, because he was happily married and had a family, and it's not as if he was having a midlife crisis. He really did. Like you say, he got slowly kind of pulled into it and kind of, just kind of to where it did affect him. But yeah, it wasn't overnight, and it just kind of happened gradually. One minute he's kind of going out to Los Angeles from Texas on business, and then he's starting to live out there, and then he starts having problems in his marriage, and then he, starts having problems with his partners, so.
The thing is, when you fix one problem,
Things seem to be going very well.
there's always more.
owe a considerable amount of money. We're afraid we're gonna get cracked.
What, you mean whacked?
Yeah.
Middlemen.
You peddle pornography over the internet.
Well, Senator, this is your billing record. NaughtySecretary.com.
You realize you just attempted to blackmail a publicly elected state official. And it worked.
Now, this is definitely an adult film, so watch it when the kids are asleep. Look for Middlemen in your Power Zone.